Gravity well, everything falls toward me. Gravity well, I'm the center of this dark. Gravity well, and I stop fighting what the night is pulling into me. There's a gravity to certain hours, a pull that has no physical explanation. Just the way the deep night bends the world toward the center of whatever you've been running from. I've been orbiting the thing I couldn't name for longer than I wanna calculate. And tonight the orbit finally decayed, and I'm falling toward the center of it now. Falling in, not down, but in. Falling toward the center of the thing. Gravity well, the night is made of me. Something that pulls rather than escapes. Gravity well, I'm the center of this dark. Gravity well, everything falls toward the heart. The things I've been avoiding, the things I've been denying, fall toward the gravity well of this honest night. Gravity well, put it all in now. Gravity well, what falls and doesn't leave, and what I pull into the center is the truth of what I am. Gravity well, the night made me this. Everything orbits what it's drawn to, and everything eventually falls in. The question isn't whether you'll arrive, but whether you resist the fall or choose it. I choose the fall, I choose the center, I choose the gravity well of the deep night's honesty, and fall toward myself with both eyes open. Gravity well, I am the center of this dark. Gravity well, everything falls toward the heart. Pull it in, pull it all in. Every truth you've been avoiding falls toward the center now. Pull it in, let the gravity do its work. Let the night pull everything into the honest center of what you are. Gravity well, I stopped orbiting. Gravity well, I let myself fall in, and what I found at the center of the honest dark was nothing to be afraid of, was only me. Gravity well, show me me. Gravity well, falling in. Zero hour, the city stopped pretending. Zero hour, just the dark and what it's hiding. Zero hour, this is when the real begins. 3 in the morning and the world belongs to no one. Every honest thing comes out at this hour. The version of myself I keep behind the daylight is the only version standing in this room. I've been running from the silence for too long, mistaking noise for proof that I exist. But the 0 hour doesn't take excuses, it just holds a mirror score. 0 hour, when everything you are comes to the surface. 0 hour, when the armor finally fails. 0 hour, the most honest thing about a person is the face they wear when no one else is there. 0 hour, I'm standing in it now. 0 hour, no more hiding in the crowd. Just me and everything I've been trying not to know. 0 hour, the city hums beneath me like a secret. 10 million people sleeping through the truth, and I'm awake for reasons I can't name yet. Just pulled here by the gravity of this. There's something in the deep end of the night that the afternoon was never built to hold. The questions that the daylight keeps postponing come calling at the 0 hour alone. Can't escape it now. The dark has got the door. Can't perform my way through this. The 0 hour keeps the score. 0 hour, when everything you are comes to the surface. 0 hour, when the armor finally fails. The most honest thing about a person is the face they wear when no one else is there. I thought I knew myself. I thought the version I presented was the whole of what I was, but the 0 hour showed me there are rooms inside a person that only open in the dark, and what lives in those rooms is not what frightens you, it's what you've been too busy to become. 0 hour, I'm not afraid of what I found. 0 hour, I'm standing on this honest ground. The most real thing I've ever been is here at 0 hour. In the dark, in the deep. 0 hour. 0 hour. 0 hour. 0 hour. Slow collapse. Everything I built is falling. Slow collapse. Slowly, softly, honestly. Slow collapse into something more true. There's a kind of falling that feels more like landing. A slow collapse that isn't lost but true. The structures that I built to hold the daylight were never built for what the dark reveals. I've been watching them come down in slow motion since the hour when the honest night began. Not with violence, not with sound, but slowly. The way a thing falls when it's finally done. Let it fall. Let it all come down. Let it fall without making a sound. Slow collapse is not the end. Slow collapse is how the real begins. Slow collapse of everything I thought I lighter than I thought it would be. It's more honest than I thought it would be. Slow collapse into the truth beneath the structure. Slow collapse into what I always was. Before the building and the building and the building up of walls. Slow collapse. Finally falling into real. I used to fear the falling. Thought it meant that I had failed. But the slow collapse of midnight showed me that the fall itself was what I needed. Every wall I built in daylight was a wall I built between myself and whatever was already waiting in the honest dark below the shell. Slow collapse of everything I thought I was. Slow collapse into what I always was. Watch it fall, watch it all come slowly down. Every version of me that was never really me. Falling slowly, honestly into the dark below, where the real thing lives, where the real thing has always lived. Slow collapse, I'm not afraid. Slow collapse into the thing I was afraid of, which turns out to be myself, which turns out to be the truest thing I've ever found in any dark. Slow collapse into me. Slow collapse. Slow collapse. Slow collapse. Still fall softly. The city has a skeleton of glass and steel. It shows its bones at 3 a.m. when all the human warmth has gone to bed, and what remains is structure, line, and edge. I walk through the cold architecture of a night that doesn't need me to be here, and find it clarifying in a way the daylight with its warmth has never been. Cold is honest, warm things hide. Cold destruction stripped of pride. Cold is where the real things live. Cold architecture has nothing left to give except the truth. Cold architecture, beautiful and brutal. Cold architecture, honest to the bone. In the warmth I couldn't see, in the cold it's all revealed. Cold architecture of the night is all I need to feel what's real. Cold architecture, every line is true. Cold architecture, nothing soft to hide behind, just the structure of the moment. deep current. I stop fighting, I let go. There's a pull beneath the surface of this night. Not threatening, not violent, just persistent. The kind of pull that knows exactly where you are and doesn't ask, just moves beneath you. I've been floating on the surface for too long, staying in the shallows where it's safer. The current has been patient since the start, and tonight I finally start resisting, going under, going deeper than I've been, going under, into something I can't name, but it knows my name. Deep current, take me where it's real. Deep current, where the false things can't exist. Deep current, in the deepest part of the night, I finally feel what I've been missing in the light. Deep current, running through me now. Deep current, I surrender to the sound. Let it move me, let it take me, let it show me what I am. Deep current, the deepest things are really loud. They move below the register of noise, a frequency that just receives before the ear, a truth that lives beneath the conscious voice. I know this pull, I felt it before, on every night that opened something in me. The deep current of the honest dark that runs beneath the city and it's sleeping. Deep current, take me where it's real. Deep current, where the false things can't exist. Below the noise, below the name, below the face I've been presenting, below the version I perform, below the reasons and the resting. There's a current, there has always been a current, and it knows exactly where I need to go. Deep current, I've stopped resisting. Deep current, let it carry me now, all the way down, all the way through. Deep current, deep current. Below, below, deep current. Below. Undertow, you don't see it coming. Undertow, it moves below the surface. Undertow, and by the time you feel it, you're already in. The undertow this night is subtle. It doesn't announce itself with violence. It just slowly changes the direction of everything you thought you chose. I came out here to think, but the thinking turned to feeling, and the feeling turned to something I don't have the language for yet. Pulling me past the places I know, pulling me into the deeper flow. Stop trying to swim against it, let the undertow decide. shallow in the daylight. Nothing real could ever grow. I needed the undertow to take me deep enough to know. Undertow, the most honest force I felt. Undertow, moving through me now. Something old and patient that was waiting for this night. Undertow, finally. Undertow, I've been anchored to the surface by the weight of what I'm supposed to be. But anchors are decisions someone made, and decisions can be made again. Tonight I cut the anchor, let the undertow receive me, and discovered that the deep was where I should have always been. Undertow, take me where I haven't been. Undertow, show me what I haven't seen. The deeper that it takes me, the more I recognize this place. The undertow was never pulling me away. It was pulling me back to something I forgot, something that was always mine. In the deepest water, undertow, I stopped fighting. Undertow, I let it take me home, the home I didn't know existed, in the depths below the night. Undertow, I'm here now. Undertow, undertow, still pulling, still pulling. Black frequency, below what you can hear. Black frequency, you only feel it here. Black frequency, the deepest signal in the dark. There is a frequency below the audible that the body receives before the ear. A vibration in the chest cavity that tells you something real is near. I've been chasing the black frequency through every version of the night. The signal that exists below the signal, the truth beneath the light. Tuning in to what I cannot name, tuning in to the frequency of dark, tuning in to the signal in my chest. Black frequency connects me to the part I lost. Black frequency, I receive you now. Black frequency, deep below the sound, somewhere in the chest where language hasn't been. Black frequency is where the real begins. Black frequency, darker than the dark. Black frequency, moving through the heart at a depth that nothing else has ever reached before. Black frequency, open every door. The night has its own transmission, broad broadcasting below the range of noise. A signal meant for those who came here listening, not for the sound, but for the frequency beneath. I am the receiver, built for this specific channel, the one that only broadcasts in the deep end of the dark. Black frequency, I receive you now. Black frequency, deep below the sun. Below music, below sound, below vibration, below the concept of a frequency at all. There is something that has no name in any language that the deep night carries for anyone brave enough to listen at this depth. Black frequency, I've been waiting for this signal. Black frequency, all my life below the noise. Black frequency, here in the deepest dark, I finally hear my own voice. Black frequency, below, 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 below. Every bone exposed. Night anatomy. Every secret show. Night anatomy. The structure of the dark is the structure of myself. A specific anatomy that only those who stayed past midnight know. The hour when the body changes function from performance mode to something true below. I've studied this anatomy for years. The way the city changes what it shows. The bones beneath the beautiful exterior. The structural truth daylight rarely shows. Take it apart, bone by bone. Take it apart until the truth is shown. Night anatomy is the only honest map I've ever known. Night anatomy, stripping everything to structure. Night anatomy, beautiful and bare. I see the surface, in the dark I see the frame. Night anatomy shows me what I am beneath the name. Night anatomy, every layer gone. Night anatomy, only what belongs. The skeleton of midnight is more honest than the day. Night anatomy showing me the way to what is real. There is a specific stillness in the deep hours when the body stops pretending to be fine. When the jaw unclenches and the shoulders drop and the skeleton becomes the front line. This is when I learn the most about myself and the anatomy of day was busy hiding. Layer by layer the darker moves what the light was busy adding, until what remains is only what was always real. The night anatomy of a person who stopped performing and started being. I see myself now. Night anatomy. No more hiding in the crowd. The structure of who I actually am is more beautiful than anything. I was performing in the light. Night anatomy. This is me. Night anatomy. Bone by bone, silence. Obsidian, black and sharp and honest. Obsidian cuts through everything soft. Obsidian, the most honest material in the dark. Obsidian is formed from the most violent thing and becomes the sharpest tool. That's what the night does to a person if they let the pressure do its work. I came here soft and came away with edges. Not the cruel kind, the clarifying kind, the kind that knows exactly what it touches, the kind that cuts away what shouldn't be. Pressure into purpose, darkness into edge, violence into beauty. That is obsidian, that is what this night is making me. Obsidian, black and formed from fire. Obsidian, sharpest in the dark. I went into the deep night as a shapeless, formless thing, and what the pressure of the darkness made of me is obsidian. Obsidian, every edge is true. Obsidian, obsidian, every surface clear. I was made inside the darkness, I was sharpened by the deep. Obsidian is what I am at 3 a.m. Most beautiful things were made by violence. Most honest things were made by pressure. Most sharp things went through something that the soft things never entered. I don't feel the pressure of the dark. I understand it as the forge. The deep night is the place where I am made into the sharpest version of myself. Obsidian, black and formed from fire. Obsidian, sharpest in the dark. Formed by pressure, sharpened by the dark. Every edge, a record of the fire. Every surface, a reflection of the night. Obsidian is what survives when everything soft has been burned away. Obsidian, I am what the darkness made. Obsidian, soft and unafraid, the most honest version of myself. between the stars. That's where I live. The dark between the stars. Not the light, the space between. The dark between the stars is where the real things are. People talk about the stars as if they matter, but the dark between them is the universe. The vast majority of everything that exists is the absence between points of light. I've always been more interested in the between, the space that holds the lights apart, the dark that gives the stars their meaning, the pause that gives the music its heart. Not the light, the space where light is not the sound, the silence and the thought. The dark between is where I found the most expansive version of the ground. The dark between the stars is where I actually live. The dark between the stars is where I have the most to give. Not in the bright moments, not in the visible things, but in the honest dark between, where no one sees, and that's exactly why I'm free. The dark between stars, vast and cold and real. The dark between stars is the most I've ever felt. The space between the lights is where the universe is honest. The dark between stars is home. Tonight I drove into the unlit stretch between the last lamppost and the highway, and felt the dark between the stars above press down on me like something I've been waiting for. The weight of all that honest space, the truth of all that unlit distance, the dark that holds the universe together, while the stars take all the credit for the light. The dark between stars is where I actually live. The dark between stars is where I have the most to give. The universe is mostly dark. The music is mostly silence. The person is mostly what they haven't said yet. And in the dark between the said things is where I find the most honest version of what I am. The dark between stars, I'm home. The dark between stars, I've always been home in the honest, vast and unlit space between everything invisible. The dark between stars is exactly where I need to be. The dark between stars, home, home. The dark. The dark. Lucid dark. I know that I am dreaming. Lucid dark. And I choose to stay. Lucid dark. The most aware I've ever been. is in this dark, this honest, lucid dark. There's a state between the sleeping and the waking, where you know that you are in a dream, and instead of waking you go deeper, because the dreaming has more truth than anything. The lucid dark is like that. I know I'm in the deep night, and instead of turning toward the morning, I choose to go much further in, aware of every shadow, aware of every sound, aware of what the darkness has to show me underground. Lucid in the dark, the most I've ever known of what it means to be completely home. Lucid dark, I'm not unconscious, I'm awake. Lucid dark, more awake than I've been in daylight. Every shadow has a meaning, every silence holds a truth. Lucid dark, I'm more present in this darkness than I've ever been in life. Lucid dark, I know exactly where I am. Lucid dark, in the deep and honest space, where the dreaming and the knowing find the same exact address. Lucid dark, this is the most real place I've ever been. Most people sleep through this, the hour when the lucid dark arrives, when awareness and the darkness overlap and produce the clearest view you'll ever find. I stay for it, I come to meet the dark awake, and let the lucid darkness show me what the sleeping ones won't see. Lucid dark, I'm not unconscious, I'm awake. Lucid dark, more awake than I've been in daylight. Awake inside the dark, aware inside the dream. The most lucid I have ever been is when the world is asleep and I am here, wide awake, completely present, completely here. Lucid dark, the most aware I've ever been. Lucid dark is right here, right now. This exact dark moment, where I know exactly what I am and choose to be it fully. Lucid dark, I'm home. Lucid dark, aware, awake. Midnight Mass, the congregation of the dark. Midnight Mass, everyone who stayed awake. Midnight Mass, we gather in the honest hours to worship what the daylight cannot hold. There is a congregation that meets at midnight. No invitation, no announcement, no address. Just the ones who couldn't sleep, who found their way out here by instinct. We don't speak to each other, but we know each other by the quality of our silence, by the way we carry what we carry. revealed. No doctrine, no performance, no pretense, just the midnight and the ones who couldn't stay inside the warmth that kept the truth from them. Midnight mass, I take my place among them. Midnight mass, the honest ones, the awake ones, the ones who know the deep night is the most sacred space there is. Midnight mass. The ritual is simple. Come when you can stay inside. Bring whatever you've been carrying. Leave it at the altar of the dark. Receive the honest silence of a night that doesn't judge you. And find your congregation and the others who arrive. Midnight mass, we are the congregation of the real. Midnight mass, we gather where the honest things reveal. Every one of us who couldn't stay inside. Every one of us who needed something real. Every one of us who found our way out here by instinct, by necessity, by truth. We are the congregation of the honest midnight, and the deep night is our home. Midnight mass, we gather in the honest dark. Midnight mass, we worship what is true. The congregation of the real, the ones who chose the deep night over the comfortable life. Midnight mass, I am one of you. Midnight mass, we are home. Midnight mass, the congregation. Below the world you know, submerged where the pressure makes things honest, submerged where the depth is not a danger, it's the most real place there is. Depth, the world above becomes a muted, distant, filtered thing. The sounds come through as pressure, not a signal, and what remains is only what is true. I've been submerging in this dark for hours, letting all the surface noise filter out, until what reaches me is only frequency, and frequency is honest in a way that words are not. The light comes differently. Down here, the sound comes filtered clean. Down here, the pressure of the depth removes the things that shouldn't be submerged in the honest dark below. Submerged where the real things grow. The pressure of this depth is not crushing, it's clarifying. Submerged in the deepest part of night, where the truth is amplified. Submerged below. desire to surface, submerged in the honest dark below. Submerged where the real things grow. Deeper not as danger, deeper as direction. The deeper that I go, the more I recognize the world below, the world as the world I was always meant to inhabit. Submerged, I am home at this depth. Submerged, I breathe differently here. The pressure of the honest dark is the most natural thing I've ever felt. Submerged, this is where I live. Submerged. Submerged down here. This depth. This is when it's hardest. I know. This is when it's most true. I know. The part of the night that nobody romanticizes, but everybody needs, is a part of the deep night that isn't beautiful. It's just dying, just the gritty and romantic truth of what it means to be awake when the rest of the world has given themselves permission to escape. This is the iron hour, the one that doesn't comfort, the one that just confronts you with the exact shape of what you've been carrying. No softness in this hour, no aesthetic, no romance, just the weight of what is true and whether you can take it. Iron hour, test the grip. Iron hour, no more beautiful lies. Iron hour, no more soft disguise. The hardest part of the deep night is the most honest part. Iron hour is where you find out what you're made of, what you're worth, what you are. Iron hour, not everyone can hold it. Iron hour, the ones who can come out different, come out harder, come out knowing what they are. What are you? I've sat with the iron hour before and failed the first time. Reach for the comfortable distraction when the gritty truth got too specific. But I came back, you always come back if you're honest. And the second time that iron hour showed me what it showed me, and I kept beautiful lies. Iron hour, no more soft disguise. Hold the iron, feel the weight. Don't reach for something softer. This is what you came here for. The hour that has no mercy, the hour that is all the truth. The iron hour is the only thing that finally made me real. I know I can hold it now. I know what I'm made of. The hardest part of the deep night made me something harder. deep night. Already been here longer than you know. Deep night is not a time, it's a place, and I live here. The deep night doesn't start at midnight. It starts when the last performance ends, when the final version of the public self goes quiet and the private one begins. I've been here long enough to know the landmarks, the particular quality of 3 a.m. silence, the way the air at depth feels different from the shallow end where daylight lives. This is where I'm from, and this is where I go when the surfaces are finished with the version that they know. Deep night is where I actually live, not where I visit, where I live. Deep night, honest and without apology. Deep night, the place beneath the place. I spent my whole life finding my way back here. Every time the surface pulled me off. Deep night is the home I keep returning to when I remember what I am. Deep night, darker than the others know it. Deep night, deeper than the words suggest. The most real hour of any 24, the most honest space I've found. Deep night, I'm home. I am always home. Every other hour is a variation on the theme of what the daylight needs from you. But the deep night is the only unedited version of everything you are and everything you've been. I come here not to escape, but to return. The deep night is not the absence of the day, it is the presence of the most honest thing that lives in me. Deep night, honest and without apology. Deep night, the place beneath the place. I was made for this hour, not as a statement, as a fact. Every version of myself that has been most alive was here in the deep night, in the honest dark, in the space that makes no demands except that you be exactly what you are. Deep night, I belong here. Deep night, I have always belonged here. The most real version of myself lives in the deepest part of the night. Deep night, this is not an escape. This is a homecoming. Deep night, I'm home. I was always home.